The gross revenue, the 132,000 or so, is pretty on par with what I was expecting in quarter two, simply because we're in a season of building. And I've been talking about this a lot, right? I talked about it in the quarter one income report extensively. I talked about it at the end of last year when I was recording the quarter four 2021 income report. We are just in a season of building and investing. And it's not really a season of scale for us right now because we have to build a lot of new foundations in order to get there. So if you have been following us for years, then you saw our business went through a hyper growth in 2020. And then in 2021, our business still continued to grow from a top line revenue perspective. But towards the end of 2021, and certainly for the past 6 months in 2022, or I should say the first 6 months, the first half of the year in 2022, we have been steady in that growth mode and really just holding steady. So we're not in a season right now where we're trying to hyper scale revenue because we're having to build back end infrastructure. So I'll get into that a little bit more as I share with you some of the key things that happened in quarter two and what my takeaways are. But I wanted to provide some context on those numbers first so that you have that going into our conversation. All right. So before we get into what happened in quarter two and what am I excited about, what did I learn, what did I test, what worked well, what didn't, I also want to take a moment to further break down those expenses just a little bit. So, the trend that I've been seeing over the last 6 to 12 months, where labor is the primary expense that we have in our business, has still continued to hold true in quarter two. So, labor is still by far the largest percentage of our expenses each month. And that labor category includes both the payroll for myself and my full time employees, as well as the retainers and project rates that we pay to our contractors. So anyone that works as part of our team but is not an employee in my company. So that encompasses all of that encompasses labor. And so people are really our greatest use of our funds right now, which to me is actually a wonderful thing because that means that my business is producing income for other people, whether it's through jobs and employment or whether it's through supporting other small businesses and the services and the work that they do. That makes me very excited. As far as ad spend, that would probably be our second largest expense. And ad spend actually hasn't increased that much over the last quarter. We bumped up our spend a little bit. We spent actually about $24,200 across all 3 months, but that is fairly small, I would say, compared to the ad budgets that we were working with in 2021. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. I talked about this in our last income report that we had retired the biggest product that we put ad money behind, which was our hashtag hack suite. And we stopped selling that a while back. And so naturally, our ad spend scaled down because of that. And really, over the last 3 months, the only thing that we've been really spending money on in terms of ads were our ads that were running traffic to our evergreen webinar funnel that was selling my 12-month mentorship program. But now that we're retiring that program, that ad spend is actually going to be going away once our final launch is complete at the end of this month. So, ad spend, like I said, stayed pretty steady. We really only spent money on running traffic to our evergreen webinar funnel. And then also, we spent money towards our paid to create challenges. So, that kind of moves us perfectly into what happened in the business in quarter two.